Hello, gamers. So today is gonna be a short stream, hopefully. Well, not hopefully, but it's gonna be a very short stream. But I wanted to pick up from something I said on yesterday's stream, which is working a little bit on language bindings and working on the Perl language bindings, to be precise, the GTK4 for GTK4. Currently, there are no language bindings for GTK4 in Perl. There's a long history of Perl bindings for GTK dating back to 1997. Uh, they are, depending on how you count, they are the first or the second language binding for GTK. So Perl has been a thing for a long, long while. But of course, the language has seen like its ebbs and flows. So there are many Perl developers these days, and there are even less. Um, there is even less people interested in writing GUI Perl GUI code with Perl. Nevertheless, one of the first users of GObj introspection is what was the Perl binding. Perl and Python bindings and JavaScript were the first core users and drove most of the design choices for the introspection data formats, both the XML and the binary. So I thought, well, why not? Why not do that? Like it's a Sunday chill stream. I don't expect many people will tune in. I don't even know if I'll publish the VOD on YouTube. I'll put it on Twitch, but we'll see. We'll see what happens then. But yeah, I haven't been doing Perl in a long while. I used to do the Perl bindings when they were handwritten using the XS syntax. So we'll see what happens with writing a Perl module with GObj introspection as it's supposed to be done these days. So we are going to start a new project. So we're gonna switch to my desktop here. We'll call it Perl GTK4. Oh yeah. There is no application ID. We're gonna put in project language. It's gonna be Perl, which doesn't exist here. We're gonna make it an empty project. It's gonna be an empty makefile project, but we are not gonna use makefile anyway. It's gonna have version control. The license is going to be LGPL 2.1 or later. Even though Perl bindings usually use the LGPL 2.1 and the artistic license, I think. But I mean, I'm kind of abusing GNOME Builder for this. I'm also probably not gonna be narrating everything I do, to be honest. This again is a chill development stream. If people want to ask me questions, they can jump in and ask them. I'm fine with it. Okay, so we have our project here, but we are going to need a lot more stuff. So, first of all, we are going to remove the main and the makefile. And we are going to need a copy of our GTK3 bindings. Right. So, the Perl bindings for GTK3 use this Zilla. I don't know if we are going to... Well, yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? So we're going to touch readme md. Then we are going to make touch a news file. I'm going to have to make the dope file. Yeah, if I'm gonna put it somewhere, but that's fine. So we are going to need the Dist ini file and two directories. So lib and right. Okay. We can also remove the copying file. It's part of the Dist Zilla anyway. So we are going to do something like this. Source Perl GTK4 Dist ini. Then we are gonna edit the Dist ini file. So we're gonna call it GTK4 001. The author is not Torsten, it's gonna be me. Okay. This is an attempt. This Zilla is, I don't know if it's still used, to be honest with you. Okay. I mean, people use it. No, I'm not gonna use RTCpan. And the on page is probably not gonna be that, but we're gonna keep it there. I'm not gonna use this. I actually intensely dislike the ticket system on CPAN. It's a very, very bad one. It's a very bad cracker. Yeah, this hasn't been changed in a long while. I should probably open a merge request for that. There is no Twitter. And there is no IRC. Okay. Upload to SFTP. No, I don't care about this. And for now, we're not gonna upload to CPAN either. Yeah. So for those who have never seen Perl modules anywhere, this is Zilla. This Zilla is a collection of like scripts and Perl like modules that allow you to define a build in a fairly descriptive way instead of like a build system. But in order to use that, I will have to first enter the GNOME toolbox, and then we'll probably have to install a bunch of Perl stuff. So Fedora should have them. Oh, I should update my GNOME toolbox to Fedora 37. Well, it's fine. It's not like it's gonna break. That's a lot of stuff there. And then I will need to install glib introspection. Yes, indeed. I'm not gonna build it from Git. It's kind of pointless to do that at the moment. I'm not planning on using any bleeding edge stuff there. I mean, I don't even know if I'll need to patch. I need to add functionality there. Probably gonna need, yeah, the minimum, all the minimum stuff. Like for instance, I'm gonna depend on 0.49, and yeah, that's gonna be fine for me. I mean, it hasn't been released in a couple of years anyway, because there is no requirement for that. Okay, so okay, so we're missing a plugin there, so we're gonna reinstall it. There you go. I mean, this tells you how much of a Perl developer I am not. Any Perl developer would have installed the meta cpan utility and then installed the dependencies from cpan. Something that I used to do. Right now, I don't want to deal with that, so I'll piggyback on Fedora's packages. Right. Yeah, that is the wrong. There we go. This is a true ini file. Perfect. So we are set up. So we're gonna go lib. Yeah. And then we're gonna touch GTK4 here. So let's go here. So writing a Perl binding using Java introspection is actually pretty trivial these days. Really doesn't take long. We define a package here. Right now we don't care about the Perl doc here. We're gonna document it later. So we're gonna go one. Oh, for fuck's sake. I have to admit, one of the best parts of Perl is the inline documentation. I've only seen Rust beat it. Mainly because the documentation in Perl is kind of modeled on man pages, whereas I am more used to Markdown. Oh, hi Alakira. So we start with using script, and we use warnings, and we use carp. We are going to use hierarchy object for the hire API, and we're going to use Zilla object introspection. Honestly, the man page would be a better format than Markdown. That is true. That is absolutely true. Markdown is a shit format. There's nothing else you can say. I am not a Pythonista, but I kind of like restructured text nowadays. It's a lot better. Okay. So one of the things that the GTK3 bindings for Perl did was to set up a bunch of sub libraries, sub namespaces for ancillary libraries. That was a mistake. But it was a mistake. It was an understandable mistake. The reason why that happened was that GTK2 depended on a bunch of ancillary stuff, and that also required moving some libraries outside of GTK. Like GTK Pixpub used to be part of GTK, then it was split out of GTK because other libraries were depending on GTK Pixpub without wanting to depend on GTK. One of such libraries was Clutter, and the overall idea is that GTK3 was trying to ease the porting from GTK2 to GTK3. To be fair, these days don't care, so I'm not gonna add a bunch of libraries there. I'm gonna depend on Pango and Pixbuff. Like, you have to import them for your own sake. Why is there Perl in the title? Because I'm writing Perl. Okay, so yeah, this is a good point though. What bet did you lose? I was talking about geometry introspection yesterday on the stream, and one of the things that I was thinking about, because somebody opened a topic on Discourse saying, "Oh, is there any like GTK4 bindings for Perl?" And I said, "Yeah, not many people are actually working on Perl these days." And then it came into my head, why not do the GTK4 module and the libadwaita module and just do that on stream just for shits and giggles? And turns out that it's kind of fun, so I'm gonna do that. So yeah. Okay, another thing that the Perl bindings used to do was to expose the init function as part of the import argument. There is a GTK init these days. It's kind of pointless, and you can call it GTK init yourself. Also because the init in GTK3 was kind of weird because it parsed command line arguments. nobody else does it. No other language binding does it. Either you have proper language bindings that will expose the init function for you to call whenever you're ready to call it, or you'll get wrong language bindings like the Python bindings, which call GTK init as soon as you import GTK. That is the wrong thing to do. Always has been, but it got progressively worse. So we are not going to touch that. So let's go. Okay, baseline. We're gonna copy this from the GTK binding, the GTK4 bindings. And then it's gonna be GTK4. And we are gonna do GTK baseline. I haven't written Perl in a very long time. It used to be my go-to language for like one-liners or things like that. If I wanted to test anything, like say I want to test the behavior of I don't know, a GTK widget, I would literally write a short Perl script, and after a while I found myself either using JavaScript or using Python. So all of this is entirely bullshit. Yeah. So no customization right now because I don't care about easing the porting from GTK3 to GTK4. And especially I don't want to do incredibly stupid things. So this is kind of useful, but it's not really necessary right now. I'd have to review the entire API. Okay. I'm also kind of wondering if I have to add like a bunch of convenience wrappers for deprecated API. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, this is not important right now. This is not important right now. Okay, so good. We get to the meat here. So writing language binding in Perl with geometry introspection is actually pretty simple these days. Mainly because one of the advantages of geometry introspection is that it kind of forced us into writing consistent APIs. And so you name things in a predictable way, you make the return values predictable, you make the you try to match names with methods and things like that. And that in turn makes it easier for language bindings to automate a lot of stuff. There you go, fat arrow. And if you can automate a lot of this stuff, then, I mean, Perl is famous for trying to golf your way out of any problem. So if you manage to write the shortest possible version of anything, you win, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't care about this stuff. In it, I don't care. And this I don't care. And these are overrides. So the overrides that Python would put into its own file, these are placed inside the main library. You could split them up and move them into somewhere else, but there is really no point. Like, for instance, init doesn't have any argument anymore, so who cares? And we don't have GTK main and GTK main level, so we don't have to do that. And GTK main quit is gone. Show about dialog is not important. The action group API is gone. This is going to be, we're gonna need a C scope, well, no, a GK builder scope for this kind of stuff. For connect signals. We're gonna need to create our own Perl scope that finds and connects a bunch of stuff there. But we don't have to care about that. This is absolutely wrong. Check menu item doesn't exist anymore. GTK4 doesn't exist anymore. GTK container doesn't exist anymore, so we don't care about them. Dialog and info bar. Yeah, this is all deprecated anyway. File shows a dialog new is deprecated anyway. Hbox, Jesus Christ. No, don't care. List store, that's fine. Deprecated anyway. GTK menu is gone. Message dialog, new with markup. Message dialog is deprecated anyway. I mean, I might end up rewriting a bunch of this stuff anyway for GTK4, but right now I don't care. Recent shows a dialog is gone. The stock icons are gone. Target entry is gone. Right, this is the Perlish way of doing this stuff. The variadic arguments. We're gonna need them anyway. And this stuff is gone. There are a lot of overrides for this kind of stuff. VBox. Jesus Christ. UI manager. Oh my god. Add events. All the event stuff is gone. The render API is gone. Style properties are gone. GTK window doesn't get argument anymore, so it's gone. This is part of GDK. Yeah, this is a bunch of overrides for that. GTK window new is gone. The Pixbuff API is unimportant and uninteresting. I mean, the only reason why it exists here is because the nobody wanted to create a Perl module just for GTK Pixbuff. I'll probably have to. And this is the Pango API, but Pango should have its own module. Pango is a large API, so there is no reason whatsoever why it should be subsumed into the GTK3, the GTK4 bindings. Perl 520? Fuck off. Like 15 years ago. This is unimportant. Event mask is unimportant. This is the porting guide for GTK2. Okay, so basically not really interesting, a bunch of this stuff. We are gonna add a bunch of here. Then it's gonna be C also. It's gonna be add one authors, add one. And then okay, so this is the bare minimum necessary. Basically just import glib object introspection and call setup and then pass the details of that. The setup function can do a bunch of the automation there for things like, oh, this function has a gerror and returns a boolean and a bunch of out arguments, so just ignore the boolean automatically and just return the out arguments as a tuple. If it fails, we just croak. So you can use the normal Perl mechanism to catch that particular set of issues, the particular like programming error or whatever. So it can like paper over a bunch of stuff by itself. Like 95% of this stuff, for GTK Pixbuff, I would literally copy all of this into a separate module, and then say, okay, if you want to use GTK Pixbuff, if you want to write a GTK4 application, you have to depend on GTK Pixbuff instead of subsuming it into a sub namespace. Mainly because we are trying to get rid of GTK Pixbuff to begin with, and having it inside, like injected inside your namespace, is not fun and it's not nice. So let's fuck off. If you're still using GTK4, you're on your own. Anyway. Okay, so. Let's see what happens when I build it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I need to... I actually need to document this stuff. Okay, so GTK4. Let's say it's gonna be signal net. It's going to be activate sub. Set title hello. And then we are gonna do actually this should be enough. I'm sorry. I have somebody that is ringing my doorbell. Oh, sorry about that. Somebody rang my doorbell and I had to open up. Let's go back. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna go deep into the woods there. Hi, Georges. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Okay. The build was successful. So let's try and see if we can have some tests and see if this works. Okay, so there we go. Right. So we're going to create a new file here, call it 00init. Just more. We begin by requiring GTK4. The begin phaser. It's called. I know in Perl 6 they're called phasers, but I don't remember how they're called in like regular Perl 5. So that's not even Perl 6. It's called Rakudo these days. So but yeah, and I don't know if it's called Rakudo or another. I think they changed the name because of the unfortunate implications. But yeah, the successor of Perl, the successor language of Perl, called them phasers because they are executed in specific phases. It's something that they mutated from the existing Perl, which has the begin and other specific blocks that are executed when in specific phases of the compilation and the interpreting of the code base of a module. And the begin one is, for those who are not aware, it will be this block will be executed whenever the compilation starts. Okay, so let's leave var GTK4 then 1. Putting style is a little bit all over the place. Okay. Right. So this is a little bit of checking there. Yeah. Let me double check one thing there. We changed a bunch of things in the API for that. GTK. Right. We have a GTK check version there. So we're gonna do something like this. T4 version 0.0. And then is GTK4 version 500. Sorry. No, I need to check our implementation there. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So if you ever never done anything like this, GTK check version is a weird API. It will return an actual error string, which is not even going to be translated, so it's perfectly useless. Sorry. So what we're doing here is this. So this one is going to return undef. And this one is going to be require major. Yeah, too old, major mismatch. Check version fail 3. So the idea is, if you pass 000, of course, the GTK version you are asking is not going to be correct because the major version will not match. So let's use 3 here instead of 000. If you pass 4, the version will pass. The version check will pass, so it will return null because you're running against, at the very least, GTK 4.0. And if you ask for GTK 5.0, even though you're using GTK4, then you're asking for a version of GTK that is too old. So the installed version of GTK is going to be too old because GTK 5 is not going to be useful. It's not going to be used by GTK 4. It's not going to be exposed by GTK 4. So this is going to be the check that we're going to use here. Okay, so okay. Oh, can locate carg object. So we are going to do cdnf install Perl hierarchy object. That should be enough. Okay, so okay. Oh yeah, I need to write the wrappers for that because it expects something that is different from this. So this is why we are gonna add wrappers for that particular set of functions. So let's see. Yep. Right. Or maybe we can try and see if this works. This should work. Yes. Congratulations. We have a Perl binding for GTK4. So we are actually going to commit this. Here. Okay, so okay. Let's see. Yeah, there aren't loads of tests there. The GTK2, the Perl GTK2 test suite included a lot of stuff that required you to have an actual display connection in order to like pop up windows and things like that. So every time you run it, you would then you couldn't do anything else. If you run the Perl test suite, you couldn't do anything else. It's kind of like back in the day for the Clutter test suite, which popped up a bunch of windows and to do readbacks and stuff like that. And it was basically, if you were running this check, you had to leave your computer like running for like 20 minutes in order to do to do the build and the test suite. It was hilarious. So okay, so let's create a repository. Okay, new project, create a blank project, myself, Perl GTK4. Okay, it's public. Don't initialize anything. Create a project. So. Git push to origin. And here we are. There you go. So. Okay. cPanel. So install. No. Okay. Good. If I install it, it's going to be installed somewhere that I don't really want to. I mean, not really. I'm going to install it inside a container, so I don't care. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to install it inside my home directory. But I don't want to install in user local either. So is the install. Can I specify allocation for that? So let's see. I love it when you search for this Zilla. One of the the sixth really the link is this. Why I hate this Zilla. Dependencies are not free. Oh man. Like 10 years ago. cPanel install. It's mainly because I don't want to install it in user local. I want to install it in user. Because it's going to be user share Perl5 there. I don't see where the... Use a lib. Okay. MySQL. Provide vendor Perl, that is, where I want to install my modules. Yeah. Yeah, I want to install stuff here. I don't want to install it anywhere else. So. I don't know where to check for the packaging. I mean, I could install it inside my home directory and, well, basically just say fuck it. But I'm always worried about that. I do use GTK4. Sorry, no. I have to create an example of the map. Okay, so new folder, samples, new file, application. Basically copied the example from the synopsis here. Right. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see. Not libio. Oh, okay. So debug in there. I bet it's this one. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Application value, it's not scalar, default. No, it's not default flags because that was introduced last cycle. So this is going to be flags none. String scalar. There is a... yeah, I know what it is. I know what this is. It's one of the things that makes Perl bindings a little bit off. The flags are handled as like strings using the nickname. And it's actually one thing that we had to fix in GIO. The name of the application flags for the default value is used to be wrong. The name of the flag type was gapplication flags, but the name of the member of the enumeration was, I think, gapplication none. Let me see. No, it's not here. It's in GIO enums. Right. It's gapplication flags. The first enumeration value was gapplication flags none, which is technically speaking correct because the default behavior for the script that extracts the enumerations and turns them into a G type will use the name of the type as the prefix. So we'll take G application flags and then we'll split it into G application flags and then put underscores and do G underscore application underscore flags, and then it will attach the whatever happens here after the name. The problem is everything else, every other member of the enumeration, it doesn't have the flags bit at the end. So it's not G application flags is service, but it's G application is service. So in order to fix that, you have to use a prefix, this kind of annotation for glib mk enums, and it say, okay, the prefix for this enumeration type, the prefix for the values in this enumeration type is going to be G application. So it will detect and the name and will do G application and then is service. So in any other binding, you will see gio.applicationFlags.is service or is launcher or handles open. The main problem is now the first element of the enumeration, flags none, is going to be weird because it's going to be called flags none. So you will see gio.applicationFlags.flags none, which is, yeah, not good. So in GIO 274, we added a new value here, default flags, that doesn't have flags prefix here, so it will look like GIO application flags dot default flags. But apart from that, the main problem with Perl bindings, is that the flags there are going to look weird because Perl doesn't have bit masks. It doesn't have bit flags. So the way we emulate them is to have an array of strings. And then if you want to do things like bitwise or AND or XOR, then we basically just override the array operators. So you can actually do that using arrays. But it's pretty weird. Okay, let me find the documentation for that. Okay, where are you? Yeah, it's going to look like this. So this one should be flags none. But it's not working. Use an initialized value in subroutine entry. User introspection line 67. Invalid G application flags value, expecting a string scalar on array ref of strings. Yeah. I mean, it should be something like this. But it doesn't accept it. So let me check if I can get flags. Because there is no application there. Yeah, the name is this one. Okay, and the flags are there for that. Okay. In theory, this one should work. But also this one is the new syntax, and the new syntax should be accepted that way. Oh, there you go. Invalid flags value. Okay. An undefined value there. Line 11. Why? Yeah. Yeah, because I'm an idiot. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. Oh, this is great. And here we are. Okay. Actually, I know the application example that I want to use. It's this one. Okay. So. Yeah, I should have points. Use GTK4, use GTK4. Okay. Create a new application, GTK application new, flags none, signal connect, like this. I don't need to shift anything. GTK4 application window new. Actually, yeah, use the same comments. So, create a new application. When the application is launched. Create a window. Create a button in it. Button. Which closes the window when select button signal connect select sub Where are you? This? And we do set child. And we do present. And then we run the application. Okay. Pass too many parameters. Oh yeah, because there is no more new with label. That's why am I doing this? Something this stupid. And there you go. Perfect. Everything seems to be working. Add samples application, and we fix it up. The example is the example that is on the GTK4 website. So I literally copy that to get that working properly. But that looks fine. So good stuff. And yeah, I'll have to dig out my pause credentials so I can push it on cpan. Hi, Andre. Yeah, the Twitch notification stuff is kind of weird. Sometimes it happens way after the stream has begun. Sometimes if you don't click on the email, for instance, that Twitch sends you, Twitch after a while will determine that you're not very interested, and it will stop sending you email notifications, which normally is fine, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Twitch is weird. Twitch does whatever the fuck it wants. It's yeah. But yeah, that took a lot less than I expected, and also works a lot better than I expected. Of course, the API is gonna be like C, so you're gonna write C in Perl, but whatever. Hi, Dugly. Twitch is taking async to the next level. Yeah, very async. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna publish this on cpan right now because it's missing basically everything, but for 0.001 is not bad. So yeah, I'll have to open a topic and tell people, hey, if you want to use GTK4 with Perl, then there you go. But of course, this is just one module. I'll have to deal with a bunch of other ones, like libadwaita and stuff like that. So start a new project. Project name is going to be Perl Waita. Perl libadwaita or Perladwaita? That's a good question. Perladwaita, probably. Got PHP binding part of GTK4? I don't think so, no. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that the PHP bindings support GTK3. But I don't know if anybody's actually like working on them. Okay, project language is fine as C, the licensing is no license, and the template is empty makefile project. So we're gonna create a new project here. We're gonna delete, well, we're gonna copy is readme. We're gonna make lib and team. Then we're gonna delete a bunch of useless stuff. Yeah, discard. So we're gonna call it libadwaita. And then prereqs, that's fine. This one goes away. I'll actually have to fix a couple of things there. The nice bit about this Zilla is that there is literally a single command that will basically do a release for you, the entire release, and then we'll take it, tag the Git repository, tag the create a branch, and so on and so forth. And we'll also prepare it for you to upload to CPAN. So you, with a couple of commands, you basically just release you can automate everything, even fairly complicated things. The only other tool that does that I've seen is Cargo. There's a Cargo release, but there is an additional like plugin for Cargo that does most of the stuff for you, and I use it for my Rust modules. But yeah, before that, there was this Zilla. Let me go back here to GTK4. I need to double check here that I'm not using some weird shit. Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay. Oh yeah, because I copied the wrong repository. I already had a Perl GTK4. Where are you? Perl GTK4 uppercase. So actually, let me close this one. And then Perl GTK4 Dist. Yeah. And here. I'm calling it Perl Adwaita instead of Perl Adwaita 1 because there is no point in doing that. Whenever we have libadwaita 2, which may be in like a couple of cycles or like in the next 6, who knows, we're gonna get Perl Adwaita 2 and so on and so forth. It's easier this way. And then we are going to copy as Adwaita. Yeah. But we're gonna rename everything. library, and this is gonna be like this. Libadwaita. Library. This one is going to be a lot easier because there is just one library there, and it's going to be libadwaita. You will have to import GTK4, of course. Yeah, because it's gonna be user share year 1.0. Yeah, I need to use X. Yeah, it's adwaita1, ADW1. Yeah. This is literally going to be a lot easier because there's basically nothing there. So we are gonna copy then we are also gonna copy the import test so we can run it inside this Zilla there. Okay. Adwaita doesn't have version check API, I think. It has get major version, get minor version, get micro version. Okay. So is adwaita get major version and version fail. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's not. Yes. So if we go into the example here and we do use right, and then we do white application window new. Oh yeah, it's not set child. No, it's wrong. White application and then GTK4 application window and then set child. Yes. Oh, good. That was super fast. I didn't expect that. Yeah, great. So we'll have to fix the code in the example here, and it's going to be white application, and then it's going to be GTK4 application. But yeah, that looks a lot better than I expected. So that is fine, and then we are going to create a new repository as well. Blank project, Perl libadwaita in my namespace, create project. We add a remote, and we get push origin. Oh yeah. That's it. Wow, that was freaking fast. Yeah, of course, now comes it's not boring, but it's the part where you basically have to go through the API and find the very C stuff and make it a little bit more idiomatic in terms of Perl, but also the non-introspectable bits, like the C convenience API sometimes is also convenient in other languages, so you can add wrappers around it, so you can get like convenience API that doesn't look out of place in the language that you're writing. But basically the entire point of it is that you can write it in the native language instead of writing it in like C and then wrapping it. But yeah, that was actually pretty fun for me at the very least. So I don't know if other people enjoyed it, but you know, for a very chill Sunday stream, was pretty fun for me. Yeah. Okie dokes. So I think we're gonna stop here, so I can go and do something else. But yeah, I didn't expect this to be this quick. My previous experience with writing bindings using Jobja introspection was when I wrote the bindings for GIO. The bindings for GIO are a lot more complicated in various places because they the C API sometimes is a little bit naff. But once you, I mean, there is no build system anymore. There used to be like a time when you had to deal with like if you want to see how Perl bindings looked like 15 years ago when I started like contributing to GNOME, like nearly 20 years ago when I started to contribute to GNOME, you basically had a makefile.pl where you basically had a bunch of stuff there to deal with the build and compiling stuff. And you had to compile stuff because the bindings were written using XS. So you had files like this. So it's kind of a weird C like code that calls into the Perl API, the C Perl API. It's kind of like the way the GTK bindings for GTK4 used to look like nearly 20 years ago, where you basically had to do code generation and then you had to call into the C Python API. And this is what GObj introspection actually removed. There is no need to do a lot of this stuff. For the glib bindings is necessary because the introspection data isn't nearly enough to deal with that. And also you need the GObj API to be implemented mostly in C so that you can trampoline into Perl. You cannot do that with pure GObj introspection. So all the type system, registering types, and stuff like that. But everything above that doesn't really require this anymore. Like creating Perl data types and doing weird things with them. Like is undead, make undead, and revive undead. Oh, we had fun at the time. Oh my god. Oh yeah, we did. We did have fun at the time. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on, and writing bindings at the time was really super complicated. You literally had to learn about how a library worked, especially like GObj worked, how the type system worked, how widgets worked in GTK. And then after that, you had to learn the C API for your language. So like the XS API for Perl, the C Python API for Python, and so on and so forth. And you had to either code generate a lot of stuff from an intermediate representation, or you had to do what the XS format does for Perl, which is literally write this weird cross between Perl and C, this unholy matrimony between these two languages. And it was a mess. It was terrible. You literally had to, if you were lucky, you had to copy and paste like the declaration from the C header. You copied and pasted the declaration, and Perl XS was able to deal with that most of the time. In other cases, you literally had to basically expand that and do some weird, very, very weird shit. Let me see if I can find an example. Like, yeah, the main loop stuff. So, right, so for G main loop is running, it's pretty trivial. You literally have to copy the declaration of the function, and get context is exactly the same. Perl XS had a map that says, okay, G main loop is a pointer type, and it's basically a scalar value, and once you get the scalar value, it's an opaque type and you don't touch it. G boolean is an integer, so you pass it as is. But then you had weird stuff like, okay, G source remove takes a uint tag, and the tag is the argument. But since we have sources, so the Perl version will get past the class name, so you get past glib colon source, so you have to remove it from the arguments to the function. But also you can get weird stuff like this, like gtimeout add is a class method, so you call glib colon timeout like arrow add or colon add, and you get the class, get the interval, you get the callback. The data is optional, so it's null. The priority is optional, it's gpriority default. So you basically have to go into here, this weird KNR style of argument declaration, of parameter declaration, and like here but also here, and then you have a tag that is pre-init, and this code gets injected into the generated C code, and this too also gets injected, and the ret file is a well-known variable, so the Perl code generator will replace it with the right value and do stuff to it. It's weird. This was weird. So this is what we used to have to do back in the day, like 2002, 2003. This is what we had to do. Yeah, you didn't always have to use the KNR style here. You could also use the correct style for C declarations. So you could add the type to the actual argument there, but Perl XS understood both, so it didn't matter. It's weird. It was so weird. Luckily these days we don't have anything like that to do anymore, and you can write a language, you can write binding for a library in like 20 minutes, like I demonstrated. So anyway, right, so yeah, I think we're gonna see each other next weekend. I still have a bunch of stuff for GeoBJ introspection that I want to talk about, and I also want to work on, but I also might end up writing some documentation at some point. So I'm going to plan it a little bit better for next weekend, but this is probably what my streaming situation will look like for the foreseeable future. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this weekend stream, even if you may not be interested in Perl. I hope I shown that Perl is not entirely dead, and people can still contribute new stuff to it and have fun. Have a great rest of your weekend, great rest of your Sunday, and I shall see you all next week. I'll probably publish this on Twitch, the VOD for this on Twitch, and then I'll push it on my YouTube channel as well. So who knows? We'll see. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and again, have a great rest of your weekend. I shall see you next time. Bye.